Hello, internet peoples. So it's nice, brisk, like 33 degrees today, but all the parts are in for the Wrangler. Sprung a leak. I've been smelling a little coolant burn. Hadn't been able to find an actual leak, and it wasn't substantially losing anything. I check the overflow tank every couple of days, and honestly, with moving out here, I use this. It doesn't get a lot of miles anymore. Well, it never got a lot of miles, but it doesn't get half of what it used to. And it's got about 90,000, just over 90,000 on it total. I'm the second owner. So it's about time for stuff to start failing. And it looks like the thermostat housing's leaking because, got to use plastic, got to put plastic on everything. And I go ahead and I'm going to put a belt, I'm going to put a water pump on it, and we'll see what we got here. So, I don't know if you can see it, but there's some crusty residue up and around things right there. And that's kind of where it was leaking. What I saw the other day was actually it was pooling up here in this sensor pocket. It looks like in the week or so since I found it, that has evaporated. Oh, sorry. I figured out how to use the pause button so you didn't have to hear me sneeze. That was great. But this is a Mopar belt. It actually doesn't look bad. I'll probably keep it around as a spare. But I know I've never changed it. And when I got the service records, as I bought this certified pre-owned, like I say, I'm the second owner. And I got all the records and stuff with it. It never had a belt service done. And that is most definitely the original 90,000 mile water pump. I probably should have bought a tensioner too, possibly an idler, but they're not making any noise and they seem to work. I tested the tensioner just to make sure it had tension, and everything seemed good on it. So in my true fashion, we are not doing a tutorial. This is just going to be me. I'll stop, show some progress every so often. Probably should have got some hoses too, but these actually feel really good. They're not hard. They don't feel, you get a feel for it. They're not hard. They don't feel funny. But yeah, that's what we're working on this morning. Try to keep my nose from running all over the place because it is brisk out here. And yeah, we'll touch back in a few. And we're back. The sun's coming out, so tons of shadow and bright light, and nothing's going to work for me like usual. Got the housing off, cleaned it up, had a good bit of corrosion on it. Really wanted to replace the bolts with some stainless steel, but I didn't have any on hand, and I just don't feel like running out to the hardware store and picking any up. Just popped the water pump off. You know, it's lovely as they are. A little bit of cleanup on there. Gasket broke, so I got to scrape a bit of the old gasket off. A brand new Dayco pump. Believe both of those are Gates. Got a nice Dayco belt. Man, did they overpackage this thing. It's in a box, in a bag, in shrink wrap with another bag. Man, it's like Amazon packaged it. But that's where we are. Things are rolling. Everything's good so far. Haven't noticed. Been spinning the pulleys and stuff. Haven't noticed any reason why I, should regret not ordering an idler and a tensioner while I'm in here. But, that'll come later, I'm sure. Other than that, it was nice and empty inside the intake. So, it's probably been leaking longer than what I noticed it for, or when I noticed it. So, off and back to work. Okay, so for as well as Dayco packaged this, they put a shield around the plastic impeller, and they put a shield around the threads on the nose if you have a thread-on fan. They quadruple bagged it or whatever to keep the water pump safe. They did jack to protect the gasket, and the gasket was damn near ripped when I got it out. I don't like using a lot of RTV on stuff, but this was definitely a kind of goop it. What I generally do, though, with stuff like this with RTV, and everybody has their own opinion and how to use it, when to use it, where to use it, why to use it. I used black because that's what I had on hand. Choose your color of choice. With aluminum, I tend to want to use gray. I just didn't have any on hand right now. What I had hardened up because I don't use it a ton. But what I tend to do with this stuff is I'll either apply little dabs all the way around, or I'll stick it on my fingertip, and then I'll just smear it around, and then I take a rag and I'll wipe up as much of the extra as I can. Now, that doesn't mean you won't have extra to squeeze out. That won't mean this, that, and the other. But I try to get as much off as I can. I try to make sure it's not in important areas like the passages. If it squeezes out to the outside of the body, it's unattractive, but it won't really cause any problems. You want to keep it from being in the actual cooling system, which means out from around the impeller area and any of your passages. But again, so far so good. Everything's going. Just figured I would give that update. This is a Dayco pump again. Like I said, it's pretty nice. It's a brand new pump and everything. They just did jack all to protect the gasket, and it was crushed. Well, not crushed, but it was crinkled to the point of almost ripping in about 4 different locations all the way around. So, that's what happens. All right, first maybe snafu. So this is the old, dang it. Let me, hold on. Let's see here. Stupid sunlight. My goodness. Just stayed dark and wintry like. Okay, so this is the old gasket. It's a big circle. This is a new radiator equipped with new gasket. It's notched. Thermostat housing is not notched. Huh. I don't want to try to reuse this gasket because the housing was leaking, and I don't know if it was just the warped the plastic got old and warped, or I'm looking at the new housing. The new housing also is not notched. But I don't know if the plastic got warped. I don't know if the gasket was going bad. There is some crusty stuff you can kind of see building up in there. So I really don't want to use that. This does not appear, though, and it appears that it would work. It just doesn't appear to be the correct gasket seal thing because of that. That's my life. Okay, let me go see if I can't find some more pictures of these things. Maybe I'm just overreacting. Okay, back. Took a lunch break. Gonna try this again. I tried recording it and I didn't like where I was going. It was kind of real mopey mope. Anyway, ran up to the parts store. They didn't have just the O-ring. Had to buy O-ring and a thermostat. Whatever, it's what it is. It was the correct O-ring seal. No, I am not using the Band-Aid gasket. It's not a retrofit gasket. You're supposed to use your old crushed O-ring with it. Not using that one because I bought a new housing with new thermostat, new seal, and I cleaned everything. We'll see how far down the road that gets. Maybe it'll get me another 90,000 miles. Maybe it'll get me 2,000 miles. Maybe it'll get me out of the driveway. I don't know. We'll burn that bridge later. It's fine. Everything seems to be going okay. I turned it off just to button everything up. Video and whatnot wise, I'm sure you guys don't need to see me put the grill and whatnot back on. It's almost up to operating temperature. I will turn it back on and let it cycle all the way up to operating temperature. Surprisingly enough, the fans kicked on sooner than I thought. I'm pretty sure these were set at like low speed 190, 195, high speed like 210 range, somewhere in that ballpark. And low speed kicked on at like 170. I don't know why. I don't know why. I wouldn't have set it that low. But hey, maybe it's I don't know. I got that super chips in there, but it's mostly for data. I don't think I have it set to anything. I don't have it set to like performance mode. Maybe optimized low octane gas. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Maybe that's why it runs cooler than I would expect it to run. Maybe they just remapped the fans on it. I don't care. Everything's back together. Nothing's leaking. I got anti-seize where I needed anti-seize. I got RTV, unfortunately, where it was going to need RTV because the gasket was shipped in such a poor manner that it started, it wasn't the meme where the head gasket's folded in half, but it was pretty dang close. And other than that, I think we're done with this one. I can get back to prepping the Volvo for Power Tour. Kids all super excited. And then I can get working on the big project stuff. I got, tons and tons of stuff to do for all three of the main vehicles. So yeah, everybody get out, have fun, have a nice day, and go do something you enjoy.